So, Turkey 2, the USMNT 1. To no one's real surprise, the U.S. put together yet another apathetic performance in Connecticut. It was our B team, right, against mostly Turkey's A team. But nothing about that performance, like none of the players really felt like took the opportunity to show that they should be with the A team or that they care or that they have the quality to meaningfully contribute. And to be honest, let's be honest, we knew this would happen. There's no surprise. The performance today shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. This team continues to generally not put in good performances, whether it's because they don't care or don't have the quality or a combination of the two. But if you're a B team player, I was just saying, Tack, if you're a B team player or a member of the B roster and you see that the A team roster, they don't care. You see that the, coach doesn't care and you get on the field. Are you even really going to care? I mean, you should care for sure. You should seize the opportunity to be like, look, I can provide something to this team. But did anybody really do that today?
No, I think the U.S. needs to play Tobacco Road.
It's a situation where it's just like, I almost knew what to expect coming into this game, and I wasn't real excited for it. And then I got exactly what I expected. And the culture with this team is really off. It really is. Like, you can tell with the players that they're just kind of going through the motions. There isn't a sense of identity. There isn't a sense of like pride in playing for the shirt. There were a few better moments in the second half. We were definitely better defensively with Adams and McKenzie on the field instead of Miles and Johnny. And we did create a few more chances in the second half, but also Turkey kind of took their foot off the gas. So it's hard to read into that too much. But a lot of the MLS guys that came on, first of all, let me ask you a question. Why did Jack McGlynn play on the wing? Like, I know Jack McGlynn is not the savior by any means, but it's just weird to me that you don't bring a Griffin Yao or Alejandro Zendejas on this roster at least, since the Weahs and Pulisics of the world can't be bothered to come, right? But then you play Jack McGlynn on the wing. Like, he's never been a winger in his life. I don't understand.
With Haji Wright on the bench, for example.
Yeah, with Haji Wright on the bench. Even Quinn Sullivan, who, is no miracle worker, but when he came on, he at least looked like somebody who could play on the wing more than a Jack McGlynn. Steven Spada says that was bird poop. Poch out. Might be going to Spurs, guys. Martino said that was a good performance. Are you saying Kyle Martino said that? That's adorable. Kyle Martino went from being, anti-U.S. soccer to being full-on shill.
Well, I need to see it. Wait, he said it on Twitter? Is that what
or did he say it on TV? I know he usually is on the broadcast for TNT. Every pass and touch went backwards. Insane. Oh, yeah. Very much masturbation ball, as Tack likes to call it.
I'm glad you finally mentioned that in your own channel. We don't have enough sex jokes here.
It's just a situation where I'm not even mad anymore. Like, I've been mad.
You're flaccid.
Yes, very flaccid, very apathetic, very just like, it doesn't even make me upset because I know that's what we're going to see with this team. And then after that, we'll play Switzerland. Did Switzerland beat Mexico, right?
Yeah, 3-1, I think.
3-1.
3-2.
Switzerland's better than Turkey. Switzerland has a good team.
Pete, can I tell you one thing? Completely off topic from this. You know the house that we were all in here in North Carolina?
Yeah.
Yeah, so during the stream, someone screamed outside, and we can't find who it was.
It's not
a joke. Like, everyone here heard it. If someone screamed, and we don't know where to look, so we don't want to leave the house anymore.
Did you lock all the doors?
Did you guys lock the doors? Yeah.
Do you have any weapons or anything in case you have to defend yourself?
I got these right here. That's it.
Just offer Macwell up as a sacrificial lamb.
Yeah. We should have done that to win the TST, but it's too late now.
Blaming the coach is a waste of time. Blame the USST. I'm sorry. If you're making $6 million a year and you don't seem to care, I'm going to give you some of the blame. For sure. Any positives at all? I don't know. I'm trying to think.
The jerseys are much better.
The jerseys look nice. I thought Mark McKenzie looked quite solid when he came on. Chris Richards had a nervy first 15 minutes or so, but then he settled in quite nicely. And actually, I thought defended really well the rest of the game. Hugo Lopez. I'm so glad I stopped watching this pathetic team. Smart man, Hugo. Smart man. Slum Rob. Ardia and Yildiz came and played. Where are our guys? Can we talk about that for a sec? Because even the guys that were supposed to go to Club World Cup could have at least played in these two friendlies, right? Other teams who are playing in the Club World Cup played in these friendlies as well. Why couldn't McKennie, Weah, Gio come and play? I don't understand. What was the decision?
It beats the crap out of me. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't want to say anything because I don't know what the reasoning is. But it's what we
That's
talked
what I'm
about
wondering.
too.
Like, why? Why not?
Usually, players don't reject call-ups for their countries. I mean, it's not just them, right? Europe, UEFA has World Cup qualifying. I'm pretty sure all the players are there, even the Club World Cup ones. So this is what I don't get. Anyone that likes to defend Pulisic for rejecting the call-up, so why wasn't Pulisic at least here for the two friendlies? And then he left. He could have left like right after the two friendlies.
Yeah, or he could actually play, seeing as he was like the main guy on a team that failed twice in the last year.
Well, he could do that. He should do that.
It's fucking come here and win a trophy.
Can you guys turn on the lights there? Not this one, because this one here is too bright. But the thing is, I don't understand why he couldn't even come for the friendlies.
No, none of us understand it. It's because he doesn't care, honestly. He likes to talk a lot about how he cares. And don't forget, the team is wearing the fan appreciation jerseys. Remember the jerseys that show us how much they care? They were wearing those today. Frank Kassler, he said it on the broadcast. He said there was not much between the teams. No, there was plenty between the teams.
Didn't Turkey waste a few 1v1s?
Yeah, they created more chances. And also it felt like Turkey kind of took their foot off the gas a bit in the second half and was mostly just sort of playing keep ball. There was plenty between the two teams. But what Turkey does is not really the concern. The concern is that the U.S. continues to churn out these flaccid, apathetic performances. It's one thing to not have quality, which we do have quality, not in this team, but in the A team. It's another thing to not care at all. And that's what this team feels like. I went to the game. We played well for a minute. LOL. Thank you for that, OGR. That must have been a tough game.
No. There was someone in the chat complaining about negativity that said that we were okay for a full 15 minutes.
He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT.
It's a record high for this team in the past 2 years.
Did you hear the scream again?
No, it's just
don't get killed live on StreamYard, man, on YouTube. That would be quite.
I mean, look, I don't control when someone kills me, dude. Like,
I'm just saying, be like ready.
It's up to me. I would just tell them, don't kill me. That's what I would say.
Have your head on a swivel, unlike Johnny. Be the Brazilian with the head on a swivel today. I hope you guys don't leave no matter how we do in World Cup. I like you guys, and I think the next generation will be good with a better coach. Well, we appreciate you, Julian. The problem is we also have lives, and we have to earn money and work and pay rent and stuff. And if we continue to do poorly in the World Cup, it might just be you watching, Julian. And as much as we love you, the amount of time and effort and energy that we invest in this team might not be worth it if it's just you. So we're just taking it we're going to take it until the World Cup. And then after that, we'll see. Everything is up for evaluation. But I do appreciate the kind words. Given the amount of Serie A guys are missing, Pulisic is the ringleader who decided to F with Poch by asking Weah, Wes, and Musa not to participate.
Weah, Wes are with Juventus.
They're with Juventus, but it is a question why they couldn't participate when other guys, like some of the Turkish players.
Yildiz is from Juventus. Yeah, Yildiz is from Juventus.
Yildiz is from Juventus, and he's there playing for his country. While everybody else, I don't know. Wes is probably eating Haribo somewhere. But, Stephen, I don't know if Pulisic asked them that, so I can't really speculate on that. Falcon, even my 9-year-old was mind blown with Agyemang's horrendous touches. What a crap lineup. Thoughts about the subs? I thought the Johnny and Adams, the Adams for Johnny and McKenzie for Miles subs were good. They both deserve to be pulled at halftime. I thought we left Agyemang on way too long. I thought we should have seen John Tolkien. I thought instead of seeing so much of Max Arfson, we should have seen John Tolkien. Damian Downs should have been on for Agyemang, to be honest, a lot sooner than he was. Quinn Sullivan was actually trying to play as a winger, so I'm fine with that sub. But if you look at the roster, there's not a lot of quality in this roster. So even the way this roster was constructed was quite poor. And look, the guys who are injured or didn't want to come aside, Paxton Aronson is a guy who deserves a look, for example, and he didn't really get an opportunity. I still think that Cameron Carter-Vickers is better than Miles Robinson, guys. Miles Robinson cleared that ball on the second goal about 2 yards. So, and that's another mistake in a long list of Miles Robinson mistakes for this team. Even aside from the guys that we didn't, like Alejandro Zendejas should have been on this roster. Griffin Yao probably should have been on this roster. There's a lot of guys that should have been here that just weren't. Honestly, Busio should have been here over a guy like Sean Zawadsky. But yeah.
Sean was cut, right? Sean Zawadsky?
He was cut because of an injury, but Busio should have been brought in to replace him. Who did they bring in to replace him? Walker Zimmerman?
Walker came in, Paxton Aronson came in, and Nathan Harriel.
Nathan Harriel was brought in, which was quite interesting. Consequences of not going after dual nats and focusing on MLS players. Poch not recruiting has set this team back. A team players hate playing for Poch. 18 players hate playing for Poch. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. They should represent their national team. I don't know if they hate playing for the Poch or if they just don't care about the jersey itself, about playing for the national team. They want to show up for the World Cup and Copa America, but then everything else they like turn their nose up at. Which, to be fair, is mostly Christian Pulisic, right? I don't know why we didn't fight harder for McKennie and Weah to be here. Maybe they didn't really care either. It's hard to know. But you're 100% right, hooligan. I don't know what happened with Pulisic. I remember him crying after failing to qualify in 2018. Yeah, he looked like he cared back then, and he wrote a beautiful op-ed. But recently, ever since the Qatar, it seems like a lot of our players are kind of checked out, to be honest. What's going to be the MLS shill's excuse this time? Well, they'll say Jack McGlynn scored the goal, even though Jack McGlynn had a terrible performance, like terrible. But it doesn't matter. MLS players, European players, all of them look bad today for the most part. Still feeling Luna, but one man does not make a team. Well, Luna also was not great, but he also didn't really have anyone to combine with, right? If Agyemang is the striker that you're supposed to be playing balls to and combining with, you're playing a losing game. Because every time you pass the ball to his feet, he can't hold it up. He gives it away. He takes a heavy touch. He was getting bullied by players smaller than him. Did you see how many times he would try to hold off a player and the player would just kind of lean on him and he'd stumble?
No one was good, and this team struggles with physicality. Even Agyemang, that's supposed to be really strong, didn't work.
Yeah. Watch San Marino this morning. Waiters and electricians that played for them have better technique and touch than Agyemang. Yeah. But, he's from Connecticut, so we got to give him a chance to play. This is the merit-based system of U.S. soccer. He's from Connecticut, so he should play if we're playing in Connecticut. I'm pulling for Saudi Arabia to win the Gold Cup. Can you imagine?
I mean, it's not impossible.
No. Also, don't they have, what's his name? The French coach?
It's Hervé Renard, yeah.
Yeah, they've got Hervé Renard, who they beat Argentina.
Probably the guy we should have hired to begin with.
Yes, probably.
He's also better looking than Pochettino.
Yeah, but that's not hard. Half this chat might be better looking than Pochettino. I refuse to believe Canada have a better roster. No, they do. This roster compared to Canada, Canada has a better roster. They brought their A team. Look, Alphonso Davies had a long season for Bayern, didn't he?
No, he has a torn ACL, dude.
No, I know, but if he was here, he would play.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Healthy, he would play. Like, he's not Pulisic. He plays for Canada. Let's see. Wow, Steven. Pulisic can F himself. He is the most unauthentic and overrated athlete in this country. Wow. That might be a little over the top there, Steven, but I understand the sentiment. It's very frustrating to watch your best player not give a fuck about your national team and only want to show up for like the World Cup, but then turn his nose up at friendlies and also Gold Cup, especially after so much failure. Were there any players like Freeman or Lena who could go to Europe from MLS? I don't know if Antonio Freeman, that's his dad, Alex Freeman, really put himself in the shopping window today. Personally, I watched Alex Freeman play for Orlando live. I didn't see anything super special there. I thought he was decent. He was fine, but I didn't really see anything that I'm like, this kid is going to be a baller. I think at best, he's still third right back on the roster. I don't know who.
There's no way he's third right back in the roster.
Well, who do you have as the third right back then?
Well, Dest. You can put then Scally. You can then put Weah. You can then put McKinney. You can
Okay,
then
but I'm
put
talking
Tyler
about
Adams.
pure right backs. At best, if you only want to play right
But
back,
he's like worse than these guys that are not pure right backs in the position.
sure.
Marlon Fossey's probably better than him, actually, at least on the ball for sure.
On the ball,
That's
definitely. But
yeah, on the ball is.
Freeman is an MLS product. You know, he's fine for MLS, and maybe he can get a little better because he's only 20. But I just don't see anything special there. I know there's a lot of hype around Freeman right now because he got a few goals or whatever, but I don't really see what all the hype is about with Freeman. I think we have a tendency to hype players up, especially when they come from MLS. It's like, oh, MLS is next best thing. Like Kevin Sullivan has been hyped up for a year and a half now. He still has done nothing in MLS. I'm not saying he's never going to be an MLS player. The kid's 15. That's fine. He's playing in MLS Next Pro, which is where he belongs. But we start hyping him up like he's special because Man City paid $2 million for him, and forget that they also paid for Eric Palmer Brown and Alex Alcala. It doesn't mean much. Meanwhile, Mathis Albert at 16 years old is with Dortmund's first team already for Club World Cup. I didn't see anybody here that I thought is ready for a big European move, to be honest. I don't really see anybody here that's like, maybe Luna, but I think Luna needs to go to Europe also to improve and to be put under some pressure and to continue to grow as a player. But other than Luna, I didn't really see anybody that I'm like, yeah, they should go to Europe right now. Is this USA team better or worse than Berhalter ball? In my opinion, about the same. Although at least Berhalter won Gold Cup in Nations League. But let's also remember, he got very lucky in the last Nations League. We would have been out to Jamaica in the last Nations League. If Jamaica didn't score a lucky own goal, we would have been out. Like sometimes Berhalter also rode his luck. Don't forget, even in the Gold Cup against Qatar, Qatar had 3 chances in the first half in that Gold Cup game. If you guys remember that semifinal, 3 chances in the first half to score and completely whiffed on them, including a penalty. If they score 2 of those, we don't win the Gold Cup. Berhalter got very lucky. And to be honest, we were pretty much the same level of shit. He got lucky in that Gold Cup and he got lucky in this last Nations League, but his luck ran out in Copa America. So anyone feeling fondness or missing Greg Berhalter, just think back with some logic about what that team looked like for so long. Dirk, Agyemang looks like a baby giraffe trying to get his legs under him. Yeah, but you can have a nice career in MLS as a baby giraffe, right? You're a baby giraffe. MLS is like, great. Give him some money, hype him up, market him, get the shills to say he should be on the national team, and bam. So if you're a baby giraffe, don't lose hope. MLS will come calling at some point. And from there, you can transition into a national team.
Mm-hmm.
Been following y'all since the 2021 Gold Cup. It sucks how far we've regressed since then and as a team, and I've clocked out since we barely qualified for Nations League. Yeah, Hugo, I mean, it sucks for us too, man. We had excitement for this generation. We had excitement for the future. And 1 year out from the biggest, really the biggest soccer event in American history, it just seems like it's all doom and gloom. And there's very little brightness or optimism or anything to really hold on to. It's like, maybe this could, work, or maybe we're going to get lucky. I don't know what we're going to look like in the World Cup, but the signs are not good. So I feel your pain, Hugo. Absolutely. Jose Reyes. Lately, I can't even believe this is the USMNT. For all the talent we have, good players don't play well or care, and our coach doesn't care. Only a few players look like they care. I want to highlight Adams and McKenzie today. Adams and McKenzie, I thought, looked quite good when they came on. Quinn Sullivan was trying. He doesn't have a ton of quality, but he was trying to make something happen there on the right. Other than that,
Mark McKenzie and Tyler Adams, Tyler Adams is a lock to start, regardless, like from what we've seen. And McKenzie at this point is probably a lock to start as well, just because
it should probably be Richards and McKenzie. That should be
so I mean, it's really not learning anything new from everything that happened.
Yeah. But I feel your pain, Jose. I thought Tillman had his best USMNT performance. Well, here's the thing, Dusty. Considering how poor his performances have been for the U.S., I'm not sure that that's really saying much. I don't think Tillman was good today. I think he had a few good moments, but overall, I thought he was a bit of a passenger, as he usually is for the national team, right? So hard to get excited about. Tillman keeps getting opportunities with Gio Reyna's situation. Tillman keeps getting opportunities to stamp his authority on that midfield and say, I should be the 10, But then when he gets those opportunities, he doesn't really do anything with it, right? So it's kind of hard to like be excited even about stuff he does for PSV, or if he gets a move this summer and goes to Germany, I don't know. It's hard to get excited about it because it doesn't seem to translate to the national team.
Can you put the comment saying, "You are to blame, pressuring the USMNT to fire Greg"? I kind of want to address that real quick.
Let's talk about this.
Okay. So it's saying you are to blame for pressuring the USMNT to fire Greg.
Mm-hmm.
One, the federation ain't firing it because anyone's shouting out loud here, right? They didn't even fire him when the domestic violence case came up and people were already yelling at Greg. So he didn't get fired because of us. The reason he got fired was because he became the first coach in charge of a host nation, the Copa America, to get grouped in the Copa America. He got fired because of the results. And sure, the results are pretty much the same since he left, but that's why he got fired. Okay? That's all.
And anybody who thinks he shouldn't have been fired is delusional. Because if you think this team would look better under Greg right now, please think back to the 6 years of Berhalter ball and how awful and boring it was. Like, no. Firing Greg was the right decision. The problem is that we got a coach who doesn't seem to give a fuck and he's just happy to pick up his $6 million. Stephen Nagishi, I despise USMNT now. The general sentiment of probably most of the fan base at this point. Chris says, playing for your country is the highlight of any professional athlete, period. The fact that we have so many guys that didn't want to come play is sad. Well, Tack, remember you were talking to me after the Copa America, and they actually asked a lot of the players who played in Copa America if they wanted to go play in Olympics, and pretty much every single one of them said no.
Yeah,
that should have told us a lot about how little they care.
None of them were there.
None of them were there because they didn't want to be there.
No. Someone also said that Scuffed podcast said YouTuber negativity is part of the problem. Like, how does that affect any on-the-field performance? Like that, we're trying to blame like things that are just like, oh my God, we lost to Turkey. If only that tactical manager guy said good things on YouTube. If only he coddled our players.
They would play better. YouTuber negativity is the real problem here. We have a federation that just wants to make money, that doesn't want to grow the game.
Pete, stop. You're going into things that don't really matter. We're losing because
these things don't
there
matter.
are YouTubers criticizing this team. Stop with anything else. Anything else you say is a conspiracy. We're losing because YouTubers criticize this team. If we just stop tomorrow, this team is winning. This
also,
team is
apparently,
honestly,
I'm apparently pretending to be born and raised.
Dude, honestly, we're holding back this team so much that if we stop tomorrow, if we quit by the World Cup, we might actually win the World Cup. We're holding them back so much. We're grabbing them by the balls and dragging them to the floor, according to Scuff Podcast.
Well, before the game, Poch is showing them clips of our YouTube channels, and it's depressing them, and they can't play well.
It's like, I'm glad that at least they're watching. I'm glad because we at least get more views, but I don't think that the national team is playing poorly because of Scuffed Podcast, for example. I think they have no impact in the performance of the national team. That's what I think. And the same goes for us. I think we have no impact on how they perform, for the better, for the worst.
Anybody who thinks that is delusional, but that's pretty on brand for Scuffed Podcast.
I mean, we can try to blame people for whatever. It's like...
It really shows how hard up we are looking for someone to blame, because if you're going all the way down to the YouTubers, the USMNT is not performing because of the YouTubers, then I don't know. You really are hard up to look around you and be like, whose fault is it? Apparently, I'm also not born and raised abroad. I'm making it all up. This is what I heard was said on the Scuff Podcast. So they seem to be a little bit obsessed with us, and that's okay. I wish them luck. At least they can be obsessed about something, because it's hard to be obsessed about the USMNT these days. Tillman created chances, needed a real striker. I don't think he created that much. Do you remember any meaningful chance? By the way, Tillman wasted a sitter. That header, unmarked, headed right at the goal.
Tyler Adams created that chance somehow.
Yeah, like Tillman has to finish that. He's got to head that away from the goalkeeper and toward the far post. He just headed it straight down at the keeper. He would have gotten his first international goal. I don't remember any real chances that Tillman created. The only moment that I really liked from him was when he played that ball to Agyemang in the channel. It wasn't like an amazing ball or anything, but it was a forward pass, and then Agyemang's brick touch made it go out the touchline.
So Pete,
Lens,
just so you know, according to FootMob, Tillman created 2 chances, and that's probably more or less what I remember. Also,
but also Mob's version of chances created. Sometimes I
no, I
watch.
know, but I'm just saying it's not over that. Then, like it's
No,
two max, and I'm assuming one of them might have been the goal. I guess an assist would count as it. I don't know how they count it, but
I
he
don't
did
think
win the
Tillman was
most
great
duels.
today.
He won the most ground duels. So
Well, that's good at least. Len says there was a game today. Yeah, pretty much. Didn't know. They also don't market it, so you don't really know. NBA players get slaughtered by the media. You are expected to perform. Hey, maybe the reason they don't perform is because the media is slaughtering them. Maybe we should start blaming the people talking about soccer instead of the people playing soccer. This lack of accountability is hilarious. You know, the people playing soccer are not to blame. The people making decisions are not to blame. It's the people talking about soccer to 800 people on the internet. They're the ones.
I
It's
wonder
really at
too,
fault.
like where were we in 2017 when we failed to qualify in the World Cup for 2018?
Exactly. Who was at fault then? Not us.
I know what it was. It was probably like that conversation I had in the bar with a friend. I criticized the team,
Ooh. Well, I had
and
some thoughts about the national team. Maybe that was the issue. I was thinking negatively, and that made them play poorly. You know,
yeah,
damn.
that's what it is.
That's the sort of analysis that we've come to expect. Is there
Also,
a
like,
chance?
also, is there the biggest question that we have to raise here is the negativity out of nothing, or is there a reason why the negativity is happening? Like, is this team winning and we're being negative? Is that's what's happening? Because as far as I know, we got grouped in the Copa America. We lost the Nations League both games. We finished in fourth place. And now we lost again. We're in a 3-game losing streak. On top of that, we got grouped in the Copa America 1 year from the World Cup. So is this blind negativity, or it's literally what's happening right now?
Yeah.
Because yeah, sure. If we were just being negative, all this team is like killing it, destroying everyone. We're just being haters for it. I just don't see um, what to be positive about besides the fact that I'm excited for the World Cup, and that's about it.
Also, if the team's playing well, we're going to be positive. That's good for us too. We're excited as fans, and we're also excited because other people will be watching us on YouTube, right? You think we want this? You think also imagine we were just delusional for a moment. Let's say we were like, no, you guys don't understand. Poch has a master plan. We should be cheerful and optimistic and just support the team no matter what, like some kind of, mom's booster club for some soccer team. Like, no, we're talking about what everybody with half a brain can see, that this team's lack of quality and lack of real intensity on the field has been affecting us, even in CONCACAF. I don't know what is negative about that. It's just cold, hard facts. Like, people can see it. They don't even need us to say it. It's not us sitting here being like, trying to convince all these optimists to like be negative with us. We're talking about what's happening on the field. All right. Have we won any real games under Poch? Yeah, the Jamaica games. Those were the two that we won. We actually looked pretty good against Jamaica at home. That was the only time where I was truly optimistic about the future under Poch, right? I mean, obviously, when he was signed, you're like, okay, this is a good coach with, pedigree and experience. I mean, he took Spurs to a Champions League final. That's not easy to do. He had some ups and downs on his resume, but overall, the positives were there. Now, the problem that we're seeing with Poch is that he doesn't really seem to care. He talks about caring, right? And he's like, oh, you can't play golf, you can't go. And those things are all true. Like, the things he says are true. The problem is that his actions don't ever seem to really match his words. And like we said before, we kind of have to judge him on that. Just to answer Julian's question, is there a chance Poch resigns? Not unless he gets the Spurs job. And Spurs would probably have to buy out his contract, or unless Poch himself has a clause in his contract, that if a certain team comes calling, then he's allowed to go. Which honestly, at this point, if he goes, it just reaffirms that he does not care. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, that it wouldn't surprise me if he left. Although I don't know how much truth there are to the Spurs rumors. We'll wait and see. I think Thomas Frank is more likely to get that job. We need Steve Kerr, Andy Reid, and Bruce Bocce to come together and become the collective coaching team for the USMNT. Steven Spada. Have we won any real games? So no. Jesus. I don't know where to go from here. There's not really any positives to take out of this. The lineup was bad. The tactics were poor. The mentality was poor. Chance creation was poor. Defending was poor. Tempo was terrible. I just struggling to pull positives, except we finally got to see McKenzie and Richards together for a half, and they looked pretty good. It's hard to say. It's hard really to point to anything that to be positive about. And now we have to play Switzerland, which is a better team than Turkey.
I mean, in terms of like tactics, I think that was fine. Like the way the team was. The problem is just like,
how can the tactics be fine when you're playing Jack McGlynn on the left, on the right wing?
that's player selection. That's what I meant. Player selection. I meant
Well,
like
even
formation.
that means the
shape.
tactic was to have him cutting inside and passing it into midfield with no penetration. And then your target man is Agyemang. That's player selection. But even that's a part of tactics. Like if you want to really stretch a team, you have to have wide players running at them.
Yeah, it's I guess one positive is, I mean, Agyemang got exposed again. If eventually they have to quit on him, right? That's a good thing.
I mean, I don't know.
Right?
Klopp seems to really like him.
I mean, hopefully he got exposed. Johnny dropping his stinkers a negative because we're like hoping we'll see the Real Betis form. We didn't get that again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's not many positives. And I know some people try to twist it and say it was solid. It's against Turkey. One, Turkey might not even be in the World Cup. They still have to qualify. They're not going to finish ahead of Spain. They're going to go to the playoff round. I would say they have less of a 50% chance of qualifying right now. So it's not like we lost to a fantastic team and we're trying to do something special in 2026 and we're playing at home. We were missing a ton of players, but I don't know what to say anymore. That's the thing. There's not many positives out of this game. It's just another loss. What is it? 3 losses in a row for Pochettino?
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 losses in a row at home, all in the United States.
Yeah,
and none of these opponents are actual opponents that go deep in a World Cup at all. It was like what? Panama, Canada, and Turkey. 3 losses in a row at home against solid opponents besides Panama. Canada and Turkey are solid opponents, but these are not teams that are making it to a quarterfinals of the World Cup. I don't know, man. Some people might see some positives. I'd like to know what they're drinking, but or I don't know, maybe something stronger than that. But yeah, what's next?
I really liked Pete's Bob Bradley idea a few weeks ago. Let him go out in a blaze of glory with a team that has some balls. I mean, look, at this point, you know what Bob Bradley would do? He would come in and he would make this team a defensive team. He would make us soccer terrorists again. That's what we'd go back to, which at this point might be the best solution because trying to play, tippy-tap possession soccer with no real penetration is not working. The other thing that Bob Bradley would do, although he has plenty of deficiencies as a coach, okay, I'm not here praising Bob Bradley. I'm just saying that at least Bob Bradley would not suffer any fools. I think Bob Bradley would tell Pulisic to go fuck himself if he didn't want to play in the Gold Cup. Bob Bradley, it comes with a lot of fire and intensity, sort of like Jesse Marsch in the sense that they don't maybe have a ton of quality as coaches in terms of tactical ideas, but at the very least, they give a fuck and they'll make us defensively. Well, Marsch wouldn't, but Bradley would make us defensively a lot more solid, right? So would that be nice? There's also Pellegrino Matarazzo. Please not Steve Cherundolo. We don't need more of that energy in the national team. Matarazzo could be, looked at if Pochettino goes to Spurs, although personally, I don't think he will. You could maybe make an argument for the Columbus coach. Is it going to be better? I don't know. But probably Matarazzo or Bob Bradley are your best options at the moment. Jim Curtin, some people are saying, I think you're going to see more of the same. Jim Curtin is a really nice guy, but he's not the guy to fire up players. And his experience is also very limited to MLS. But let's see what happens, guys. I mean, this Gold Cup is going to be the B team, right? This is what we have. This is who they brought. I don't agree with it. It is what it is. We're going to try to do our best. I'd be very surprised. What do you put our chances at winning this Gold Cup? I personally have about 20%, not even that, maybe 15% right now.
I mean, it's a very crap competition, Pete.
Well, yeah, but Mexico and Canada are both looking a lot better than us. At this point, Saudi Arabia might be a lot better than us. Panama has beaten us the last 3 times we've played them. So that's 4 teams that we could easily lose to. Easily. To be honest, we could lose to Jamaica at this point. because Jamaica, you
Jamaica
never
usually
know.
tends to help us, though. They like to help.
Generally, but they could have a good day randomly,
Yeah,
which does happen.
considering that, I think 20% chance is fair because you named 4 teams ahead of us, or at
Right.
least 3 of those 4. At least 3 of those 4. So when you distribute the odds of winning, if you do a percentage of 100, 20% is pretty high.
Yeah.
But look, I still think winning the Gold Cup could very well happen. We've seen the U.S. play with a terrible team like 2021, go there 1-0 everyone and win. But yeah, like the odds of losing it are legitimate. The question is, how bad do you lose it? Do you lose in the quarterfinals, which would be terrible? Do you lose
Losing
in
in
the
a semifinal would be terrible too.
semis, which is also terrible? And then, or do you lose in a final in a one-off game against Mexico back and forth, right? That's something that's not really acceptable, but at least you're like, okay, you lost one game. Okay, that can happen. I don't know. We'll see. But I think we still have I think we still have high odds of winning the Gold Cup.
I don't think they're that high. I don't know. Maybe the last
20%
year has
is
gone.
high. 20% is high.
I don't know, man. That's not great math. 20% odds.
What's the percentage or the odds of like Spain winning the World Cup when you put all the teams there?
I'd say
like
there's
20%.
probably about 5 teams right now that could win the World Cup.
So it's
probably about
20%.
10. But that's not high odds.
But it's the highest.
If we did really well in Copa America and won Nations League and looked good against Switzerland and Turkey, what would our odds of winning the Gold Cup be? Probably a good 40 to 50% at least.
Yeah, because then you would put the U.S. as like the top 2, the clear top 2.
Husker Beat says, from a Spurs fan, I'd throw the Brinks truck at Ange Postecoglou, Australian Greek coach who just won the Europa League. Spurs trophy, first Spurs trophy in what, 20 years? More, right? Do you remember when Spurs last won a trophy, Tech? Was it like the early 2000s? They won the FA Cup or something?
I don't remember. I mean, Harry Kane was there for how long? He didn't win. He was there in 2016 already. So
yeah, he was. So it's been a long time since Spurs has won a trophy. Probably a Spurs fan in the comments can help us out with that one. Look, strong communicator. It was great for the Australian national team. Strong communicator and motivator and loves a challenge. 1 year rental. Why not? You see, the problem with that, and would he be the right fit? I don't know. Probably at least worth talking to. But the problem is you're expecting U.S. soccer to do something competent. And I'm not sure that Ange Postecoglou will have offers. He's just won the Europa League. He might get a mid-table Premier League team offer. Or if not, he might get an offer that's at a higher level than the U.S. So I don't think Ange Postecoglou is very realistic right now. And I also think that the way Postecoglou plays, he needs a lot of time, right? Everywhere he's won a trophy in year 2. And that's working day in, day out with the players. So I don't think that Ange Postecoglou would really be the right fit. He also likes to play very possession soccer. And
why would he want this job also?
No, exactly. I just don't think he's the right fit for what we were trying to do, A. And B, I don't think he would ever come. I think he'll have better offers that would be better for his career.
No, I don't think there's a single coach in the world, unless you pay 6 to 7 million, you pay like a lot of money, that wants this job. It's not
MLS
prestige.
Coaches would take it for sure.
No, yeah, but outside of MLS, a coach that like can coach the Premier League, for example. This is not a high prestigious job in the world of soccer.
No.
You don't have very high odds of doing something special in 2026. Why take it? Besides the money. It's almost as attractive as like a Saudi Arabia job at this point for the World Cup.
Oh, yeah.
But there they pay more.
Saudi will pay more.
They'll pay more. So that one might be more attractive than this one at this point.
What do you think of Poch's interview with Donovan and Tim Howard? So I didn't watch that interview. I don't generally watch their channel that much for various reasons.
That much? You watch it at all?
Huh?
You watch it at all? I don't watch it at all.
No, I don't watch it. I don't have time, number one. And there are other reasons too. But to me, the problem with interviews is that Poch can say all the right things. In fact, he's consistently said a lot of very good things that I agree with. But what he says and what he does seem to be in conflict with each other. So it's nice to sit there and have him, on his fat ass talking about how we need more passion and more intensity. But then you're off coaching sidemen in UAE instead of talking to Nathaniel Brown. You're scouting Atlanta games where not a single USMNT player plays instead of recruiting players that can actually help this program. So it's nice that he gets on podcasts and sits down with the media with his little wry smile and smirks about how we need more intensity in this national team. But what I want is not words. I want action. Okay, it starts from the top. He needs to show commitment to this team before he asks it of his players. And so far, all right, attending little musical performances and tweeting more about that than he does about the national team and the job that he's doing is very frustrating. The guy's being paid $6 million a year to be on vacation. This is the least pressure job in all of international football. I can't think of another national team. San Marino might have more pressure than this job, honestly. There's so little pressure for this national team. He literally is on a paid vacation, and it shows. It shows. Anyways, it's Saturday. There's a weekend out here. You guys have better things to do than to commiserate with us. So we're going to let you go. Tack, are we safe out there? Any more screams? Has Macwell been offered up as a sacrificial lamb yet?
We have Macwell here, but we lost one person.
Dustin?
So I don't see him. So
all right. Well, Dustin, my brother, if you're up in heaven now, if there's a psycho with a sickle outside the Airbnb, then best of luck.
I mean, you were here. You know, it's kind of scary at night.
It was. When we first drove into that Airbnb, we were like driving through the forest down a dirt road. We were like, where is this Airbnb? It was like how horror movies start. Keep us posted, Tack. We're glad that you're still alive. But, you know, honestly, what might be worse is the performance that we just watched. I think I'd rather fight a psycho with a sickle right now than sit through.
I'm already expecting this, so I'm just hoping we somehow turn up for the World Cup. Until then, I don't get that beat down by like bad performances. It doesn't hurt as much.
All right, last super chat. We're not going to do player ratings this time because it's depressing. All the player ratings will be below 5. Nobody gets above 5 for sure. Barney says MLS is definitely paying Poch to showcase these bums. Neither of the Aaronsons. That's true. Where's Brendan and Paxton? Neither of them played today. Both of them can play on the wing. That was weird, man. Very strange. Anyways, yeah, neither of the Aaronsons play. What are we even doing? The questions we're all asking ourselves. We'll sign off here, guys. Try to enjoy the rest of your weekend. Get away from the U.S. soccer. Go do something. Spend time with your loved ones. Have a barbecue. Fly an ultralight. Do something better for your mental health than this, because honestly, we're grateful for the support, but anybody who's tuning out or is becoming apathetic, we don't blame you at all. We really don't. All right, Tack, be safe out there. We'll talk to you. Are you doing the 7 things we learned tomorrow?
I am thinking about it. I mean, it's just that as much as they think I love negativity, I kind of don't want to do a 7 things we learned again. It was just 7 negative lessons. That's about it.
Yeah.
So I'll think about it. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know.
All right. Well, take care, guys. You'll see you all soon.